is the last chunk, just making sure we can do everything we've been doing. But what we have to be careful of is it's easy to want to do on these improper fractions and mixed numbers to make negative part of the initial answer. No, just make your final answer negative. So let the negative hang out as you do the math. What's 7 times 9? 63, and then 63 plus 3. So this is negative 66 over 7. Don't do 7 times negative 9 because you're going to mess everything up because all of it's negative, not just the 9, all right? So you just ignore the negative, let it hang out, and then do the improper fraction like you've been doing. All right, let the negative hang out. What's 11 times 5? 55 plus 10? 65 over 11. So what's our answer? Negative 65th 11ths. Guess what? This is the exact same idea. Just do the division part without the negative, and then once you get your answer, put the negative in front, okay? So let's take 37 and divide by 8. Yeah, 4, right? Because 5 times 8 is 40. That puts us too high, right? So we go in 4 times. What is 8 times 4? 32. So when you do your subtraction part, what's 37 take away 32? 5. So your answer is the whole number, 4. And then the remainder is your numerator, 5. And what was our denominator the whole time? 8. And then just what can't we forget to put in front? The negative. So just don't worry about that negative until the very end, okay? Or in my math lab, type the negative right now and then go do the math and put it in behind it, okay? We're going to do the same thing here. 46 divided by 5. We get really close to that. How many times does 5 go into 46? 9 times, right? 9 times 5 is what? 45. So we'll just put the 45 under our 46. And we'll do the subtraction. 46 take away 45 is just 1. Yes, ma'am.
So the number on top is always the whole number.
Yes, your quotient, the actual answer, how many whole times do you go into it, is the whole number. We have 9 full cookie cakes, right? And then we have 1/5 left over, but then what's hanging out in front? The negative. So negative 9 and 1/5. So they try to like confuse you because you're thinking you're having to divide and it's not. Just do the normal division. All right? Last thing here, guys, is just, again, worry about your sign at the end. What do we know about a positive times a negative? It's going to be negative, right? So put negative in my math lab right now, or do the conversion of the improper fraction first and then worry about the negative, okay? So in this one, I've got to make sure I'm on the same page as you. Let's write right below it, what is this as an improper fraction? 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So this is 11/4. Times, let the negative hang out for a second. Let's just do this math. What's 5 times 3? 15 plus 3 is 18. So this is negative 18 over 5. Is that okay? I just let the negative hang out as I did the 5 times 3, which is 15. 15 plus 3 is 18/5. At this point, what I do, and you do not have to do it this way, but I do, I just make the whole thing negative. So a positive times a negative is a negative. So I'm just putting a negative out in front. And then remember, I'm just multiplying straight across. So what's 11 broken down? 11. What's 18 broken down? 2 times 9, but what is 9? 2 3s, right? So this is 2 times 3 times 3. So does everybody see my negative in front, my 11, and then my 18? All right? And then how does 4 break down? 2 and 2, and then what about the 5? He's a prime, okay? So at this point, what's the only thing that happened? Just the 2? All right. So we have 11 times 3 is 33, but then 33 times 3 is 99. So we have negative 99 over 2 times 5, which is 10. And then just pay attention to how they're going to want it. I don't know if they say if an improper fraction is okay or not, or if they want it as a mixed number. So I think I probably would take either or on this one. But typically, if you start as a mixed number, they're going to want you to put that back as a mixed number, okay? So this is, I'm just going to really quickly just tell you what it is. I'll write or. How many times does 10 go into 99? 9 times with 9 as a remainder. So that's negative 9. I did that real fast, I know, but I know you guys could do it if you did it. Because 10 times 10 is 100, right? So it almost goes in 10 times, but it only goes 9 times, 90. And then 99 take away 90 is 9, okay? You guys are getting to this point where, like, I can talk to you like that and you know what I'm saying. Just think 2 weeks ago, you probably wouldn't have felt that way. You're like, what are you, you're talking Italian to me right now. All right, let's look at this next one. Let the negative hang out as we change it to an improper fraction. So what is 7 times 4? 28. 28 plus 2? 30. So we have negative 30 over 7. Divided by, we're still keeping it division because I need to change it to this improper fraction first. What's 4 times 1? 4. What's 4 plus 1? 5. So this is 5/4. All right, what's my next move going to be? The flip, right? So that first number, negative 30 over 7, always stays the same. And then we change it to multiplication and we flip the second fraction. So that will become 4/5. Again, I break it down way more than you need to. If you can look at it and know that 5 goes into 36 times and be done, that's fine. But I like to cover all bases. So I'm going to write this as negative 3 times 10 or 3 times 2 times 5. Is that okay for my 30? And then how does 4 split up? 2 2s. And on the bottom, again, celebrate the small things. They're both prime. So what do they break up as? 7 and 5. So I do all that just to find out the 5s are the only thing that cancel, all right? So our final answer is going to be a negative. 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12, times 2 is negative 24. Does that look right, guys? Over 7.
Got a question. Why do you have that first 2?
That's this one. That's a 3. So 30 was 3 times 10. Yeah, he was a little crappy looking. All right, what would this be as a mixed number? Can anybody just do that in their head? Well, what's the closest 7 can get to 24 without going over? 3, right? 3 times, but what is 3 times 7? 21. How far off is 21 from 24? 3. You guys just did that in your head without even doing any division. That's really cool, okay? Those that can't do it in your head, that's fine. All we're doing is long division there. How many times does 7 go into 24? 3 times. You'd write 21 under your 24. Do the subtraction. 24 take away 21 is 3. All right, last 2 things. Drum roll, drum roll. What we have to realize is that it's the same rules from chapter 2. So like I mentioned on Tuesday, our test next week is not a midterm, but it basically could be a midterm because we're using all the same rules that we had on that first test. So when we're adding opposite signs, what are we really doing? Subtracting. So it's all the same kind of concepts. So we're going to subtract the bigger 12 and 3/4 minus the smaller 6 and 2/3. We're going to get an answer, and then what are we going to do with our answer? Make it negative because the bigger number was negative. So it's just still the same rules. We're going to subtract and make it negative. We can even make a note of that. Subtract and make negative. Because we know that rule from chapter 2, right? So when you add opposite signs, you're really subtracting. So this is going to be 12 and 3/4. Take away 6 and 2/3. Okay. So those that came in a little late, this is what we did the first half of the class. We said whenever we're doing subtraction with mixed numbers, what we can do is just kind of focus on the fractions first. Say we wanted to do 3/4 minus 2/3. What would we need? An LCD. What number can both 4 and 3 go into? 12. So I'm just going to rewrite these off to the side with a denominator of 12. Okay? They're not that bad at all. So when we do 4, what do we multiply 4 by to get to 12? 3. So we're going to multiply the top by 3 and get 9. What do we multiply the bottom by? 4. So we got to multiply the top by 4. And then cross out your old fraction. So that's kind of what you walked into was we had done the equivalent fractions. We had crossed them off. Okay? So now we can do the math. And again, don't even worry about all this other crap. What is 9 take away 8? 1. So we have 1/12 over there. What's 12 take away 6? 6. When you get done with your answer, go back to your fraction. Is it an improper fraction? No, that's good. Can it be simplified any further? No, okay? So what we changed 4 and 3 to a denominator of 12, and then we just asked ourselves, how did we get to that new denominator? Make sure you do it to the top. So 6 and 1/12 is not our answer. What do we have to remember?
Negative.
Make it negative. All right? Whenever we do subtraction, what do we have to do? Write it as addition. So let's do that first. Let's write this as negative 9 and 2/7 plus negative 30 and 11/14. Remember doing that? The first number stays the same. The subtraction changes to addition, and the second number goes to the opposite. So now what are we going to do with these two numbers since they have the same sign? Add and make it negative. So let's make a note over here. Add and make negative. Because they have the same sign. So it doesn't really matter what we do. I usually do the bigger number on top just because it looks better to me. And then what do we have on the bottom? 9 and 2/7. And we're going to add them. Okay, and I make my, my addition line a little bit bigger because I know I'm going to go off to the right there. Ignore the 30 and the 9. What's going to be the LCD between 14 and 7? 14. You start with your bigger denominator, 14, and ask yourself, does the smaller one go into it? It does. So we have 14 and 14. Celebrate the small things. He was already over 14. Woohoo! So he gets to stay in 11. And then what do we multiply 7 by to get to 14? 2. So we're going to multiply the top by 2 and get 4. Cross out your old fractions. And now you should be able to do that math. What's 11 plus 4? 15. So this is 15/14. And then what's 0 plus 9? 9. And what's 3 plus nothing? That. So you get done with your answer and you go back to your fraction. What do you notice about our fraction? It is improper, okay? So this is 39 whole pizzas or cookie cakes. Somehow I went to pizza today. I guess I have salty instead of sweet today. So we have over one pizza here, okay? So we got to see how much. Some of you can just do that in your head. How many times does 14 go into 15? Once. And what's your remainder? 1. So guys, this is equivalent to 1 and 1/14. Is everybody okay with that? If not, go off to the side and do your division. But who else did we have hanging out with us the whole time? The 39, right? So we have 39 full cookie cakes, but then we have this whole other cookie cake to add to it to give us 40 cookie cakes, and then our little fraction, right? So this is 40 and 1/14, but what can't we forget? That's why I would probably put that in my math lab, because I would forget that, I would put that in my math lab the second I noted it, that it was negative. I'd be like, okay, negative, so I don't forget that my answer is negative. You guys